Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kryptonized. Joining me today from the Ravencoin Foundation is Tron Black. Now, it's interesting that his first name is Tron. Very relevant here. I don't know if you all know about the psychology of names and occupations, but this one kind of fits, and we'll get into that. But before we do, Tron, will you introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Tron Black. I fight for the users. My name was given to me at birth. My dad was a chemical engineer, and he was so Electron. He took the Tron part of that. So I went into the right field. I've been doing computers since I was a young child. When the PCs were first being introduced, kind of in the early Atari, kind of pre-IBM PC days. They were doing mainframes, but not PCs. So, it worked out good. I am the president of the Ravencoin Foundation, and so I kind of spend my time on basically just kind of telling people about Ravencoin. It's not dependent on me or on the foundation. It's just kind of a support organization, just to kind of be there for people.
And my understanding is Ravencoin's decentralized. Is that right?
Very decentralized, and we worked pretty hard to do that. We made it so that it's not dependent on anything or anyone, just people running the nodes. In fact, we intentionally made it so that it picks up the existing nodes and networks that are out there and isn't dependent on specific domain names. It has some fallback positions in case it can't find nodes, but it's really super decentralized. There's multiple developers on it. It's open source. Anybody can run it. It's basically just an emergent network from running the Ravencoin open source code.
Okay, and what was the purpose of Ravencoin? Why was it even created?
Yeah, so it was actually the brainchild of Bruce Fenton. He was the former executive director of the Bitcoin Foundation. So one of the things that they were doing on Bitcoin is creating, and this was done by projects like Mastercoin, Counterparty, things like that. They were using the Bitcoin blockchain to put other things on, other tokens that could represent other things. It could represent, a share of a company or gift cards or an hour of your time or something like that. They were just tokens that you get and then somebody creates, and then kind of you give them value. Different from Raven itself, a token which is like Bitcoin in the sense that it's just market driven and limited. There were other projects like that, but they were a little clunky. Still, some of them still exist. They're still clunky because you have to send a little bit of Bitcoin with everything. I mean, we've got another one now called Ordinals, which is also a little bit clunky. And so it basically does. It integrates those two things into one project, and that allows you to create a token with a unique name, so it has a DNS-like name registration system in it. So you get your token, and you get the quantity of tokens you request from 1 to 21 billion. 500 Raven is burned when that happens, so that those Raven are kind of gone forever. It's part of its tokenomics, and then those tokens are yours, and you can also document on the blockchain what those tokens represent, whether they represent, an hour of your time or a gift card for, cupcakes at a cupcake store, whatever they are, whatever gives them value. You can think of them, an easy way to think of it is like, you get a bag of poker chips. Let's say you got a bag of black poker chips off of Amazon. You can't take those into a casino, right? Turn them in for $100 each kind of thing. But those poker chips could be, especially if they're unique or had your hologram on them, you could say, hey, these are worth an hour of my babysitting or something like that, and give them to people, and then they would represent that. So you can think of it that way, a little bit more counterproof than poker chips, but you can use that for whatever you want.
It's not on Bitcoin, right? It's on its own.
It is not. So it used the Bitcoin code originally. We launched on Bitcoin's 9th birthday. We launched purposely. It has a lot of we'll call it like the same ethos as Bitcoin, meaning super decentralized, has its own coin and things like that, but completely independent, completely different network, not dependent on Bitcoin, but has a lot of similarities because we started with that code. Added to that code and modified with that, with security in mind, was the ability to create these tokens on top of it. And there were other platforms where Bitcoin was here and these second tier things were here you could create tokens on top of Bitcoin. And so what we did was kind of put those together. And when we put them together, there was some, the clunkiness we were able to kind of remove and make it like a native first level, level 1 protocol that has these features built in.
A lot of security token companies use different blockchains, like Ethereum, Polygon, what have you. What makes Ravencoin so unique in this space, especially for securitization of assets or security tokens? What makes it more unique than any other?
Yeah, I can give you a few reasons. So most of the other projects, including Ethereum and some of the others, and Solana and EOS and things like that, they're using smart contracts to do this. And because of that, they don't have this DNS-like registration kind of built in. Also, there is a unique identifier for the tokens on these smart contract platforms. So it's basically a 40-character hex value, and that's the unique part. You can give your token a name, and that's kind of like put on the blockchain, but it's not unique. So if you put a unique name on, someone else creates another one, the unique part will be that 40-character thing, but the name could be identical. And that allows for some kind of fraud type things. And so built into this is that name registration, which means you can build a brand on top of it. There will only be one of those token names on the Ravencoin network. So you can kind of be assured that you're kind of getting the right one as long as you get the name right. And the name can be whatever you want as long as someone hasn't used it already. So that's one of the advantages. The other advantages built into it is the ability to say, this is what my token represents. And so it's kind of built into the native protocol to say, what is the data, the metadata, the data about the token that's linked to this. The advantage to that is that all the explorers for Ravencoin will link directly to that. And that can go to a file full of folders, it can go to a movie, it can go to a PDF, it can go to a text file. It doesn't really matter. That's super flexible. But you do know that this token that was created goes to this data, and that data can't be tampered with after the fact. So you have kind of this locked thing that says, all right, this PDF was created at the time the token was created, and that's what it represents. And so those are kind of two of the unique features of Ravencoin.
Excellent. And as it applies to security tokens, like I've seen some real estate projects that have been tokenized using Ravencoin. What unique features within Ravencoin allow that to happen?
Yeah, so I mean, you could tokenize real estate on other platforms using the smart contract thing. And so there's a smart contract called ERC20, and then it's kind of launched on various different projects, the Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, etc. But going back to that last conversation, some of those features where you go directly to a Ravencoin Explorer and you can jump and see exactly what documented what it was, and then also you're less likely to be spoof, tricked, that kind of thing but if you go to the wrong place because the name is very specific and unique, meaning this real estate project is a Ravencoin token named this. You're gonna that's what's gonna show up in your Ravencoin wallet will be that token name. So those are some of the features that just kind of make it better than for tokenization in general. As far as tokenization for real estate, you can tokenize real estate on anything. It's kind of a better platform for tokenization in general.
Are there any anti-money laundering, AML or KYC, know your customer types of security features built into the blockchain, or does it allow that?
There are. No one's required to use those, but we do have a special token called restricted assets. And all those assets have a $. They start with a $, and no other asset will start with a $. And so it can be $, and then the unique name. What that does is that when you do that, it creates a special type of token. Now, this token has a decidedly less crypto ethos thing built into it, which is the issuer, the person that created those tokens, can basically say freeze all trading, meaning just stop all trading. That's decidedly non-crypto. That's like, whoa, I mean, if someone, if Satoshi could just say, no more trading on this Bitcoin, no more swapping these Bitcoin things, that would be horrible. But in the security space, the person that's actually redeeming those tokens or that has the real estate or is the person whose hour of time is that token or, depending, somebody's behind this token, kind of like, giving it value. That's the issuer. That issuer kind of has this superpower. They can stop trading on a specific address, stop trading in general, or they can set up a set of rules for their tokens that their tokens can only move to addresses with certain tags. And then tags are like tokens that you just like stick onto an address. And those can be used for KYC, AML, for people who aren't familiar. That's know your customer, anti-money laundering laws. And in the security space, there's a lot of regulation around, hey, we don't want like shares of real estate or shares of a company to be just randomly going to people in Iran or countries that we've sanctioned, or in this case, now Russia, et cetera. And so you can basically say, oh, we know this customer, we know who they are, they're not on this sanctioned list, and you can give them a tag. And at that point, the token itself, meaning built into the protocol, that token will not go into addresses that don't have the tags that the issuer specifies. And that allows you to kind of build a subset of people. Hey, we know who all these people are. They're safe. They've been run through these databases, government databases or whatever. And so the tokens can move amongst them, no problem, but they can't be going wild and, Bob can't sell it to his Russian friend or something like that. It's totally optional. It's not built into the regular tokens, don't have that kind of that thing. But if it starts with a $sign, just know that the issuer is being compliant and is using this system to kind of follow the rules.
My quick question around that, around AML and KYC, is once you're whitelisted on the Ravencoin, let's say blockchain, does that apply to every project that I might be investing in on Ravencoin?
No, because it's not actually saying that I'm whitelisted. What it's saying is my address, meaning my crypto address, right, which is like a Bitcoin address, only it starts with an R or Raven. That address has been given a tag by somebody. Now, if that tag is given by, let's say, a Verify Investor or somebody who's like well known in the thing for like checking all the boxes and doing that, then that could be shared. In fact, we've looked into that to make sure that that is a thing, and it turns out that it is. Almost nobody uses that just because the way the law is written. The compliance officer has kind of his neck in a noose, and if he doesn't follow the rules, he's the one that gets in trouble. And so he usually kind of in banks, especially, they kind of say, no, we're going to stay in bank and we're going to do this ourselves. But it is apparently legal. This is my understanding. Apparently legal for you to trust an entity that says, hey, no, we've done all these checks, we check them periodically, and we've kind of given them the go. And so there is an advantage to using a tokenized system in this way, in that you could have a trusted kind of vendor for KYC AML, apply that tag, and then other people could trust that tag, other issuers could trust that tag because Verify Investor or another entity has that kind of higher level of making sure that they are KYC and AML.
All right.
And then your tokens could honor those tags.
Yeah, I mean, I see that happening as more and more people get involved in this. I know we're still a few years away, so hopefully that does happen, because it's so annoying to have to go through that process each and every time. So I know somebody's working on it, and it can be done. It appears it can be done via tags on the Ravencoin blockchain. I think if Ravencoin's going to try and claim the security token mantle, they're going to have to put something like that in place inherently, would be my guess. So to wrap things up, I want to talk about a few projects that you've seen that you're like, wow, I mean, this is using the full power of Ravencoin, whether it's a security token project or not. Preferably it is, but just some projects just to give people an example of why Ravencoin is the best blockchain for these particular use cases, or one of the best.
Yeah, so Brick BC is doing tokenized real estate in Australia. We have tokenized real estate that's being done in, I think, Wisconsin. And they're rental houses and things like that. There's a platform called DigiShares. So if you want to do tokenized anything where it is a security, I would look at DigiShares.
The real estate industry is plagued with paper-based, time-consuming, antiquated processes. Only 7% of global real estate is available to investors, whereas 80% want to invest. Real estate is extremely illiquid, and investors are usually stuck with their investments for many years. DigiShares solves these problems with our blockchain-based tokenization platform.
And what they'll do is help with the making sure you're compliant. So there's different ways to be compliant. So you can sell to just accredited investors, or you can do Reg CF, which is it goes on a broker-dealer website. So and you fill out a form that says this is what we're offering and things like that to the SEC. And it can go on a website as long as it's on this. But DigiShares is working on all of that. So they're a great platform if you're planning on tokenizing something that would be considered a security, that would be, stocks or bonds or real estate or
Debt instruments.
artwork may not be, but a collection of art in a company where you're renting that art probably would be, because there's somebody behind the scenes that has to go do that work. Easy way to distinguish it, maybe not the legal way, but the easy way to distinguish it is if all the people that I bought this stuff from, they just kind of walked away from this thing, would my tokens be worthless? And if they would, then that's a pretty good chance that they're security. Whereas something like Raven, the token is just supply and demand, and there's nobody that has to be doing something to give them value.
So is Ravencoin primarily utilized today for security type tokens, or is it utilized for other things as well?
Well, it has all the use cases that Bitcoin has, meaning it has its own token with its own value that you can it's just supply and demand, and there's a limited number of tokens, ultimately 21 billion instead of 21 million like Bitcoin, but it has its own price and its own supply and demand. And it's on trades on Binance US and Binance and Bittrex and a bunch of others, and so people are using that, but it's differentiating factor, meaning what makes it different from, say, Litecoin, which is largely just sort of a copy of Bitcoin, is that it has these capabilities built into the layer one, which makes it really, really good for doing tokenization. And then a subset of tokenization is tokenizing securities, meaning tokenizing stocks and real estate, art, things like that.
All right. Well, Tron, it's been a pleasure. I do want to wrap things up here. Ravencoin appears to me to be purpose-built for the security token space. There's other use cases, as Tron alluded to. But if you're looking at tokenizing things, look to this blockchain. There's other blockchains that we've talked about and we'll get into. But I like the inherent built-in features. One of the things that we didn't cover, what are there, just before we wrap things up, I should have asked this. Is there any sort of equivalent to a smart contract on Ravencoin? So that, let's say I have a real estate project and I want to issue monthly dividends or some sort of payment because I'm collecting a lot of rents off a project.
Yeah, so there are no smart contracts. So smart contract is just a generic programming language where the code that you write runs kind of everywhere. So it is different in that regard from, let's say, Ethereum, which you could write these contracts. However, what has happened over time is the smart contracts have kind of said, tokens are really good, and a few other options, right? A few other things. So one of the things is there's several options of tokens. So doing NFTs, doing tokenization for art and things like that, but also potentially sending the funds back. So it has built in sort of this, we'll call it rewards feature, which is where you could take Raven or even another token that represents something else, maybe could represent a stable coin or something like that, and you can send these tokens out pro rata based on the ratio of ownership over here. You need to make sure it's legally compliant, but basically built into the protocol is the ability to do that. It's kind of a two-line thing. It's like sets up a snapshot that says take a snapshot at this time, who owns what. And then you say, yep, go ahead and send it. You can take that snapshot, look at it in a spreadsheet, make sure it looks good, and then say, yep, go ahead and send it. And it distributes the tokens pro rata. And it has some special features like, don't send, to this account if there's something that, some reason it got frozen or isn't supposed to be sent to or something like that. You can, do those types of things just in case. But built into the protocol is that ability.
Okay, so you can take a bunch of stable coins, which is probably what most real estate developers or smart ones would do, and just say distribute these according to this Ravencoin cap table for this particular token.
Yes. Yes.
And okay, good. All right. With that, Tron, again, I am really going to close this time. Thank you for being on the show. I do want to have you on later because I got real specific use cases that I'd like to walk through and just to let people know, here's how you do it. Here's how you put a real estate project on the Ravencoin platform. You're going to have to use some other partners, maybe like a DigiShares or something, but that would be the next time. And look for that episode and we'll link it here when it appears.
Hey folks, my name is Mark Fidelman. I am the host of Kryptonized, and I have a special tip for you today. It's Tetraguard. You can find it at tetraguard.io. This is the first decentralized ETF consists of Bitcoin, PaxG, and Ethereum. I recommend this. If you just want to get into crypto the easy way and have some solid crypto tokens that are in this particular ETF, then Tetraguard is the way to go. Check it out.